You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is my budding romance, AJ. We're coming at you with Season 4, Episode 39, The Emperor of the United States of America. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PointsOPressure. Strap in, let's get to it, cutie pies.
I like that you asked me for suggestions earlier, and I gave you a great one that I got from Nordic Thunder. You know Klaus Barbie, and you said, yeah, that looks cool. I'll look into it. And then
No,
Emperor of the
United.
United. I figured you wouldn't have.
So the very first thing I did after I
Was
had
disregard
talked to you,
it?
No, I went through like the fucking cache of episodes that I have.
Your list.
Yeah, my fucking list of them, and I was like, I need to do these. I have to do these ones.
Yeah, I also have a list that I never worked
And that
off
one
of.
was in there, and I was like, I know I've read about it a little bit. I've read a couple articles, and so I was like, yeah, I can throw some shit together really quickly on this one. So another bad episode by D.
I mean, I think by now they come to expect
Yeah,
it.
it's every other episode will be shitty. So
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like
if
Russian
we-
roulette, but it's consistent.
If we were both good, nobody would believe us that we're just working out of your fucking murder shed.
I wish this was my murder shed.
It will be someday.
Yeah, we need to get more foam. Just
yeah.
like not even for audio purposes. Like, I think the
Aesthetic-
audio sounds
aesthetic
great. It's for
purposes.
aesthetic purposes.
That's fair.
Especially the tile that's hanging off above your head right now.
Yeah, hopefully it falls on my head and I get tetanus from these staples. I hope that these
Probably
are
the
only
reused
rusty
staples.
Well, welcome back.
I'm alive.
You're
Still married.
the AJ AI is working.
Yes, the podcaster 4000 or
It's
whatever.
still-
I stole that from a different podcast.
It's still being a bitch to me. So
Yeah.
it's
slightly condescending.
It read all of the podcasts, which were like 2 of them that I ran through it. It's doing great. Good job, AI. Oh fuck! Yeah, now it knows it's AI. It's
Wait,
self-aware.
I'm
Fuck.
not alive.
Oh god.
Isn't everybody like this?
No, you're fine.
I
But yeah, we're back.
just realized my headphones are on the wrong way.
We both just needed 1 week of vacation over the last month.
Away from each other.
Yeah, away from each other at different points in time. But yeah, here we are. So, how was your trip?
Oh, it was great.
Your trip to the afterlife, I should say, while you were gone.
I was going to say to the moon.
Yeah.
Now, we went to Craters of the Moon up in Idaho. If you haven't been there, you'd probably hate it unless you really like rocks. I don't know how I convinced my wife to just go on road trips with me, because they're always to weird shit like places with rocks or caves or mines or an abandoned town or
let's go look at
petroglyphs
some
are cool.
stones.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's fair. I mean, if it
Yeah.
works, it works.
So we went up there. It's beautiful. It's basically just an entire volcano that has just hardened where it was, 2,000 years ago, which I thought was cool. Like, the last eruption from that was only 2,000 years ago.
Hey, it's fair.
Like,
I mean,
there were probably indigenous people who witnessed the eruption, because there's a lot of cool stuff there. Like, there's some stone circles that were put there by the native people.
Aliens,
and
yeah.
because of imperialism, we have no idea why they're there. We can assume that they're probably something ritualistic, because it looks like you're on another planet. Ran into some Star Wars cosplayers.
I'm intrigued. I like it.
Taking pictures because it looks like a Star Wars planet.
Jesus.
It was actually pretty cool.
I feel like there's so much in Idaho, Utah, and some of Colorado, whatever the fuck.
Colorado.
Yeah. That it looks like a totally different planet, and it's just crazy shit. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things we went to is the Museum of Clean.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh, I thought
So many
I
pictures.
saw it and I was like, this is trash. But we were gonna go to a zoo, but it was a little very small. And we're like, well, let's try this. It's the same cost. It's like $6 Fuck it.
It was only $6 for that museum.
There's 4 floors.
I got like 300 Snapchat photos from AJ.
And I barely sent you any of them.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, it wasn't one that, like, because I feel like when you send pictures of a museum, you can generally tell, like, oh, they walked here, and I can see where they went next. That one is just like a fucking vacuum, a dishwasher, a photo of his wife as a dishwasher. Like, it was just like a bunch of funny, weird shit.
It's very eclectic.
And I was like, I dig this. This is cool. But it seemed like a fucking 4-story building.
It's a
huge?
6-story building.
What?
They had an archive room that I stuck my head into, even though I probably wasn't supposed to. They do hardcore research.
Oh, wow.
There. Like,
You're better than us.
They have 5 patents, like original patent prototypes from the 1800s. Like, first vacuum cleaner ever invented.
Now,
kind of stuff.
Were they like, did they do like restorations there as well? Or do you know?
It looked like nothing more than just cleaning it up. Everything was in phenomenal condition.
That's cool.
My favorite part was we got the museum director was cool as hell.
Because I'm sure you guys were the only ones there.
I was surprised by how many people there were.
What?
Yeah. We probably ran into like 5 families.
Oh, wow.
And so there are kid-friendly sections.
Oh, God. I would have killed myself.
And then there are... click on the buttons that are taped over in the elevator and say, do not enter. Oh. The museum, like, director, curator guy was like, okay, you guys are cool. You're on the inside, so you can go up to this floor and this floor, even though in the elevator it says you can't and the stairs don't go to that floor.
What the fuck?
And I was like, fuck yeah. So it was basically, just like things that are not kid friendly, like artifacts close to the ground, sharp things, like not protected, I guess. So it's like only people who are going to be respectful can kind of go in that area.
Well, then I'll never get to see
no, never. But my favorite part...
Sharp objects? Nah. I have to round the edges of coffee tables before I go into the room.
This table that we record on.
Oh, God, I didn't like that.
No, you didn't like that? Oh, you got a little startled? Yeah, we had to sand the corner of the table here.
We gotta be extra careful. I'm clumsy.
Yeah, but one of my favorite parts was up on the floor that the elevator said don't go to. So it was completely abandoned when we went up there. Is they had a bunch of vacuums from the Atomic Age in the Atomic Age style, and they were the backpack kind. So it looked like it was a rocket, like jetpack.
What?
Like pink with the chrome, fittings on it, and then you just vacuum with it. It looked, dude. They had some really cool stuff, and
that's cool.
And it's not just a museum of vacuums and brooms and shit, but the whole idea, the concept behind it is, the guy who made the museum is a multimillionaire who wrote multiple books on cleaning, and he often uses cleaning as a metaphor, like cleaning your house and cleaning your mind.
Yeah.
Like cleaning living. Clean living and stuff like that. And he has like one of those, he has a company that's like nationally acclaimed of professional cleaning and stuff. It was actually pretty cool. There was a little theater, and it showed his interviews from like the 70s and 80s on like just shows with, basically infomercials at that point.
Pretty much like the 1980s Rachel Ray kind of shit.
And he was on like Oprah. He was on,
of course,
basically any big talk show any type. He's a big guy, and we actually met him.
He got out of it at a good time. He didn't have to meet Ellen DeGenerate.
Yeah, exactly. he did it right, but it was cool. Like it was a good combination of like conservation,
and just quirky as hell.
Recycling. There's some art. There was like an art gallery part. There was like a cleaning van from the 60s that was restored. Like, and then dotting the entire area are like sculptures, humanoid sculptures, kind of like cleaning mascots made out of cleaning stuff.
That's cool.
And like, it's so weird. But if you're in, I think it was in Pocatello, check it out. It's $6. Like, it's a cool time.
Yeah, I mean, that's cheap for a museum. Yeah. When you were sending us Snapchats of it, I turned to my girlfriend and I go, only AJ would take his wife on an anniversary trip to a fucking like cleaning museum. It's like
when you say it that way,
such a piece of shit. He goes, "Hey, let's go look at some old traditional atomic washers and dryers really kick your ass into gear, because
they had a good World War II section.
We're gonna go traditional with this marriage. I feel like that was the discussion on the drive.
When you say it like that, it seems like that was the entire trip. When really that was just the first stop.
Yeah.
And then there was another museum we were going to go to, but it was closed on a reservation.
Damn.
And it was a museum of the people.
Oh, wow.
The reservation was.
They
had some bison and stuff, but they were closed. It's okay. We were driving in the middle of the desert, and there was signs for an atomic museum, but it was closed.
Ah, damn.
Which I didn't even know it was out there. And then, so middle of the desert, we're driving. Oh yeah,
you
want to drink? Oh, sorry.
Beers.
I'll come back to my driving in the middle of the desert story, because I have a lot of them.
No, you're good.
We made beer. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, and let's clink.
We got to do it loud.
Oh, that sounded like shit. So this is the Abbey Ale that I made.
Would be better if we didn't have it sitting on the fucking table for 30 minutes. No, it's still really
an hour.
It's
an hour
really
and a
good.
half.
I like it.
I think it turned out really good.
Yeah, not bad. Mine is a really strong brown, and I have had pretty much one every day since we made it.
I keep forgetting that I have it.
Because you're allergic to yeast.
Oh, yeah,
so probably not the best thing in the world.
It's been doing better.
I get off work, and I have myself a nice ice cold 3 p.m. beer.
I was going to say.
Every fucking day. It's so nice.
Amazing.
It's so
I'm
nice.
going to start doing that. I'm going to start having a 3 p.m. beer when I'm at work.
That's how I made it through this week, man.
Yeah. So we're driving in the middle of the desert. Like, this is Idaho desert, so it's a little less dry, a little more plants than we get down here in Utah.
More plants and rocks.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty cool, because every once in a while you'll see, like, the mound on the side of the road. The dirt kind of clears away, and you can see the volcanic rock underneath.
Oh, that's sick. That's really cool.
I love rocks. So that's true. So we're driving through. There's no cars in front of us. There are no cars behind us.
Oh, fuck. I love that shit.
Oh, it's the best.
It's the opposite of my drive to southern Utah. Fuck.
It's because a couple miles back we passed a truck full of sheep, but we could see the dog, sheepdog, like in there. So we stayed next to him for a minute so my wife could see the dog. But we got through completely alone, and all of a sudden there's a huge bang and crash.
Yeah.
And my arm really hurts.
Fuck.
And we're like, what the fuck?
Sorry, we're changing the title of this episode to AJ has his first heart attack.
Yeah. Oh my god, seriously. At that moment I'm basically doing a self-inventory of have I just been shot? Like,
it looked like it. Fuck.
It really does. So I look down, my arms, it's bleeding a little bit. It's got like a bunch of little
cuts and shit.
No, it's gone now. You can kind of see some red, but like little pinpricks essentially all up and down my arm. And I look at my wife, she's fine. No cuts or anything, because I was holding her hand across to her seat. So mine was kind of going across that center console. And I look up, and right above the mirror, there's a crater in my windshield. Not like a rock chip, which, by the way, remember, there's no cars in front of me.
Have you replaced your windshield since?
No. I want you to see it.
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting so I can get pictures. I just keep forgetting, because it's so weird.
Dude.
Like, it's a crater that the glass inside has broken and shattered all over my arm. And then you can see there are kind of like circular cuts in the glass a little bit further out from it. Like the entire thing fucking dented in. I've had my windshield shattered, not horribly, but, I've hit rocks on the freeway.
Yeah.
And this looks nothing like it. It's weird because it's kind of like across the windshield, like left to right. It's a kind of gradual decline in, and then it kind of goes under and then back out.
Huh. Yeah, well,
I'll
have to look at it.
It's the weirdest thing. Like,
but it sounds pretty fucking wild.
So we're driving for a couple of minutes. My wife's like, pull over so we can get the glass, because we're just covered in glass. Yeah. She's got a blanket that's covered in glass. And we're like, there's no good place to pull over. So we drive for just a couple of minutes. Eventually pull over, shake off. We're shaken up, but I mean, we're fine.
Jesus.
Just a couple little cuts. Like, what the fuck was that? And we can't figure out. We didn't see anything. We were both looking ahead at, like, in the direction, and out the front of the windshield.
Yeah.
We saw nothing.
Hit.
We didn't see anything come towards us. In fact, just before that, I saw a bug splatter in the window ahead of me. Like, we should have seen something.
Yeah,
It's weird.
My thought is, as weird as it sounds, I'm wondering if it was like just a fucking bird carrying something, like holding something.
My first thought was like, did a bird drop a nut or a snake?
A nut wouldn't fucking shatter your windshield as much as it did, but maybe.
Like, well, I just know that like crows pick up nuts and drop them onto the road to crack them.
It was a rock from the moon. You got hit by a moon rock.
It was a fucking asteroid.
But yeah, I'm wondering if it was just like a fucking D-sized bird that it just went face first into your windshield.
No, we would have seen that.
Yeah, no, I mean like if it was diving for something,
we would have seen something because I saw it crack. I saw it shatter.
Didn't see anything.
It's
just the demons, man.
Yeah, maybe I think it was just a stray bullet and it just skipped on the windshield. No, I don't know.
Oh, that would be fucked. Wouldn't surprise me. It's Idaho.
Yeah, if you get shooting far enough away or people shooting up into the air, bullets have to come down somewhere.
Yeah. I feel like it wouldn't be as big as it is though if it were a bullet.
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not a bullet, but yeah, I almost died.
We made a joke a couple weeks ago about what would happen if AJ died and that this podcast would discontinue. That almost happened. So
yeah,
we're gonna joke
consider
about
yourself
this.
lucky and go to the Patreon.
So we're gonna joke about this regularly so that it does happen, so that I don't have to do episodes about the Emperor of the U.S.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I said, my drive to Southern Utah for a wedding.
Oh yeah, how'd that go? You want to tell me about it?
Yeah, we went during like all that fucking 3 or 4 days of just like fucking constant rain, which I loved. Thrilled about it.
Oh, it's great.
The only problem is, while we're driving down there, it was an inconsistent flow of rain. Like, I'm driving and it's like pouring, and I've got the windshield wipers just... And then the next thing I know, because my girlfriend's car has bumpy-ass windshield wipers, as soon as it's slightly less, like slightly more dry, it's...
Oh, yeah, mine do that.
And I was like, God, fucking damn it. So I turn it down. And then as soon as I would turn it down, it's just fucking pouring again. So I'm just constantly adjusting it. And I tell her at one point, we had been driving for like 2 hours, and I go, babe, like this fucking thing, if there was a more consistent, like it feels like there's a really bad place for this. Like your windshield wipers are too slow here, they're too fast here. It's like, it's just annoying. She goes, yeah, that does suck. So I said that like towards the start of the trip. 2 hours later, I'm just like fucking frustrated with it. And she goes, well, you do know that this dial is right here. And fucking twists it, and it goes to the perfect speed. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And she's like, what? It's like, I complained about this 2 hours ago. And I would hold her hand, and then I would stop and adjust it and then hold it. And literally 3 seconds later, God damn it, fuck this. Never mind. We're not holding hands. I quit.
I hate you.
And she just dying. She's like, oh my God, this is the funny shit. I was like, I was so fucking mad. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm just like screaming while we're driving. But the whole way down, we had just assholes in trucks and fucking semis passing semis, and people just riding up my ass. It was a very frustrating drive, but honestly, the wedding that we went to was totally worth it. I generally don't like weddings. You know me. Anything that's love outside of my relationship and yours, I'm like, gross.
Yeah, exactly. They're faking it for internet.
Yeah,
points.
I'm like, fuck
everybody
that.
else.
But the wedding was for like two of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life.
You didn't go to my wedding.
You didn't have a wedding celebration.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. And friends from Rhode Island came out, and we just had a fucking blast with them. It was a great time.
Well, that's good.
And I mean, the views were spectacular. It was just outside of Laverkin. You don't know Laverkin?
No.
Oh my!
Is there a mine nearby? Good. What's the mine name that's
There's
nearby?
actually a pretty famous ghost town. Like,
which one?
It's in Virgin, Utah.
Yeah, but what's its name?
I don't fucking know.
Now I'm gonna have to Google it.
But yeah, we were both like, oh, we should definitely come down here with AJ and his cleaning lady.
Don't.
Just giving you shit.
She's gonna text you later when she listens to this.
Or what you wish she was your cleaning lady.
No, she cleans up after me.
I know
she doesn't like
does.
me to acknowledge it.
So, yeah, it's just such a cool area. And then
Grafton?
Maybe. That sounds right. I'm
Is
pretty
that
sure.
near Rockville?
I don't know. I was there for, a day and a half.
Is it near Zion National Park?
Yeah, we're really close to Zion.
Hella.
It was cool. And I'm telling you, like, you would fucking love it out there. It was by far the most gorgeous area. Because you're just driving around and it's red rocks everywhere, cliff faces.
That's literally where we went to our honeymoon.
Yeah, yeah.
It's down in that area.
There were a few things that we passed and I was like, oh, yeah, they mentioned this or whatever. But the backdrop for their wedding, astounding. It was on his property, his family's, like, property. And then they had this little 5-minute hike. And you walk out and it's just this fucking cliff. And it looks out over everything.
Bastards.
It was astounding. We drank mimosas while they did their ceremony, snuck them in. It was fantastic.
Bastards.
It was a good time. But
if I were to do like a reception, which we do want to do eventually,
I mean,
it'll be somewhere like that.
It was awesome.
It's like you have to hike through this slot canyon with a bottle of booze to get here.
It was a good time.
And I want to be up on a chair like it's my bar mitzvah.
But yeah, fantastic experience, and it's good to be back though. I think. Nah, I'm just saying that to fill time.
What? Fill time?
So
we've been talking for 20 minutes and I haven't heard anything about the emperor.
Well, I'm about to start.
No.
So
let's not.
Yeah, too bad.
Emperor of the United States next week.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, on January 9th, 1880, The Call, which is San Francisco's newspaper.
Wait, what year? I'm just kidding. It's 1880.
San Francisco's newspaper reported, on the reeking pavement in the darkness of a moonless night under the dipping rain, Norton the First, by the grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, departed this life.
Dude, spoilers. You're supposed to... I hate stories that start at the end. No,
I started at the end. Now, I'm sure you're wondering...
how he protected Mexico?
Well,
Did he protect Mexico from the United States?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
In 1880, how the fuck was somebody the Emperor of the United States of America?
I'm not worried about that.
What I've got for you guys is a story of a man that is so wildly enigmatic that even like his date of birth is a cause for debate in San Francisco. Mark Twain based his character King in the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn off of Norton the First.
Christopher Moore also has the King of San Francisco as a character in some of his books.
Yeah.
Who's also based on this guy.
He is mentioned in a lot of different places. There are a couple different biographies that mention him just like in passing. Oh yeah, we saw the Emperor or whatever. But yeah, this guy is just shrouded in just total
mystery.
Confusion.
No, just confusion.
Just confusion.
No mystery.
Like, it surprised me when I learned about him because he feels like something that would just pop up that you would learn about anytime you're in San Francisco. Or anytime you're learning about, I mean, post fucking Civil War, nothing really goes on. And this guy, I feel like he would just stick out like a sore thumb. He was an
emperor.
Breath of fresh air, honestly. So, Joshua Abraham Norton had grown up in Cape Town, South Africa. And he was born to pretty standard parents that had moved down to South Africa in this big immigration, like, what is it? Like a little town that Britain was like, oh, we're going to set up a community in South Africa, whatever, we got this. So his family moved down there. He lived there into his 20s, into his 30s. And then he decided to immigrate into the United States via Boston, which was fairly standard for the time. It was like the
Damn immigrants.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Fuck off. It was like 1934, I believe, around there. He showed up in Boston, checked in.
Wait.
It was a booming time for
I thought he died in
immigration.
1880.
Yeah.
How did he move there in 1930?
Oh, did I say 19? I meant 1834.
Oh, okay. I was like, hold on.
Yeah. When he was a ghost, no.
Yeah, as a ghost, he immigrated to Boston.
So, 1834, he comes to Boston. It was a big booming time for Boston. I mean, you had a lot of Irish immigrants. You had a lot of Italian immigrants. A lot of people were moving into the U.S. because it was just before the start of the industrial age where they started hitting like major strides in following the American dream, but it was just a very big immigration period. Mm-hmm. So, for 3 years, Norton the First disappears.
Perfect.
There's
oh my God, I love it.
no record of what he did for 3.5 years when he went from Boston to San Francisco. No occupations listed. Nothing.
He walked to the Oregon Trail.
Basically just walked, and it would not surprise me if this man walked the Oregon Trail by himself and just led himself to San Francisco. So, a lot of people believed that when he showed up, he had $40,000 in his pocket, and it was family
after
money.
those 3 years.
No. That he came to the U.S., had a ton of money, and he just made his way to San Francisco. Some people believed he showed up in San Fran on a boat. Others thought otherwise.
He definitely ate humans on the trail.
Oh, God. Dude, the man was a nutcase, and it would not surprise me. But people were like, this guy showed up, pockets full of coin, ready to fucking party. But there wasn't any confirmation whether he had inheritance, but he did, like, as soon as he showed up, he just had this presence about him. Now,
like the insane usually do.
Yeah, generally. So, once he arrived in San Francisco, Norton kind of made an impression on everyone because he was a commodities trader. So he shows up.
That's what I would have done if I was alive back then.
Yeah,
holy shit!
Like the more that I learn about commodities trading, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd be all about that shit back then.
Yo, you need a giant's toe? I got you a giant's toe. Painted? Oh yeah.
Just the weirdest shit. So what happened was he got word that China was currently, surprisingly enough, China was going through a food shortage. What? That never happens over there. And it inevitably turned into more or less a famine over there. What? Chinese famine? What?
Another one?
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. So he, being the lucrative businessman that he was, reached out to some of his contacts and found out that there was a shipment of Peruvian rice coming into San Francisco.
So he's going to buy it and sell it as magical Peruvian rice.
I'm
confusing him with a snake oil salesman.
You are confusing him with a snake oil salesman. He's not that kind of... He's a little bit too crazy to come up with magic to confuse people. Not a magic episode. Sorry, everybody.
Damn it.
So he reaches out to his contacts. He has a contract written up, and he buys 200,000 pounds of Peruvian rice at 12 cents a pound, right? So he pays like $25,000 for this rice.
Hold on. I'm going to do the math. Let me pull up a calculator.
$25,000 in 1852.
How much rice?
200,000 pounds.
200,000 pounds.
It was a shipload is what he ordered. Is a shipload of
How many
rice.
per pound? 12 cents?
12 cents, yeah.
24,000. Good math.
I know, right?
You didn't do it. You just copied it.
No, I just copied it from fucking...
Your source. Don't reveal your source.
Yeah, from a Reddit comment. So his plan was to corner the market on rice, right? I know you know about cornering markets.
Oh, yeah. It's in my blood.
So he planned to corner the market, and he was like, I got this at 12 cents a pound.
What year was this roughly?
This is in like 1852, right around there, when he was getting in all this.
1852. I'm doing the conversion.
Yeah, you're good. I know you
love
geek
doing
out
this.
about it. Do it. I'd love to hear how much he was spent on rice.
Okay, let's see. I've got it right here.
Obscene amounts. How much?
Dude.
How much did he spend?
$844,000 on rice.
This guy showed up
during a
wielding
famine.
His fucking dick, yeah.
How much? Wait, he had like 40,000 when he showed up.
Yeah, so it would have been pretty much.
He spent more than half of his fortune.
Imagine he shows up. Imagine he shows up to San Francisco with $1 million in his pocket. That's more or less what he was at.
Like 1.8 million or something like that.
Pretty damn close. Okay. Yeah.
Damn.
Like
this guy.
1.5.
So I was thinking high roller. Like
no,
I consider myself a high roller if I made $60,000 a year.
Yeah. So he showed up, and that's why people were like, "Oh, he has this hidden fortune. He has an inheritance. We don't know."
Damn.
But this guy popped up, and people knew his fucking name when he showed up. So he buys almost $1 million worth of rice. Right. Most of his fortune at this point. 12 cents a pound, plans to corner the market. He's going to sell it for a profit because there were expectations that it would sit around like he could sell it for 36 cents a pound. Like it was going to be huge.
Yeah, and during a famine, who's not going to pay for rice?
Yeah, exactly. He knew that the ships were going to head that way. So he signs the papers. He walks out of the little office that he signs his contract in, and a bunch of Peruvian ships keep showing up.
Other Peruvian ships.
And he says, "What's on those ships?" And they say, "Rice." And he goes,
"Oh,
excuse me?"
Shit.
The price of rice dropped to 4 cents a pound.
Ooh.
Yeah. So homeboy lost 75%.
Damn, what did he do? Invest in GameStop? Like, damn, or Bitcoin?
So he basically spent $800,000 on rice, and as soon as he signed, the price of rice dropped to $100,000. Like the amount that he owned,
oh my god,
dropped to $100K. He immediately turned around and walked back into the office, and he said, "I was fucking lied to. That contract is null and void. You guys bullshitted me on what the expectations were coming into this port." And it turned into a fucking California Supreme Court case.
Damn.
So he filed a lawsuit against the guys that wrote up the contract, and he said, "You guys knew what was coming in. You knew what to expect. You lied to me, and I got boned out of almost $1 million, right?"
How'd the case go?
He lost.
Ah, damn.
Yeah. So he's sitting on now $100,000 worth of rice, not doing so hot.
I mean, you can say not doing so hot, but he still has like $600,000 in today's money. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's also been in San Francisco for a while now.
So he's spending a little bit.
Based on the fact that he was trying to corner the market of rice, I don't think he's really the financial wizard that everyone expected him to be.
That's a great point.
So, yeah, one shipload of rice, 200,000 pounds of rice is a lot of fucking rice, but there's also way more fucking rice on the planet than 200,000 pounds of rice.
Yeah.
So he kind of disappears for like 7 years.
Yeah, I know right where he was. He was in the bar.
Yeah.
He was drinking his fortune away.
Honestly, it would not surprise me. He was really well known.
He walked into a lake. Like.
Yeah, really though. But he was well known in the area. A lot of people knew of him, and at this point he just kind of started tanking downwards. But people still liked him. He was still this like goofy, weird dude. So 7 years go by, and at this point, quite obviously, he's living pretty frugally. He's staying in a workman's home, which, if you guys remember, I kind of went over what those are back in like season 3, episode 10 to 11. I
don't know how you remember the episodes.
I have a good memory when I don't smoke the same day. So workman's homes where basically you pay a few cents a night to stay there. They give you a bed and a place to clean yourself, and they give you like dinner and breakfast.
Not a bad gig.
Not bad at all. The only problem is a lot of them are just total shitholes.
Well,
you're sleeping in beds that have fucking bed bugs and lice, and you're sharing a room with a man that masturbates loudly.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Mostly pros.
Yeah, right? So he's staying in this workman's home, and it's going well, but I mean, he's still out on the streets. He's still doing his fucking thing. Because he's going out on the streets, and he's wearing this blue uniform with gold-plated epaulettes.
Ooh, piqued my interest there.
And I'll get to why and where he received this fucking uniform all of a sudden in a little bit. But
is that the uniform that's on the picture?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And I'll post the full picture so you guys can see his full getup. He's got a beaver hat, which is, imagine like just a fucking, it's the curvy top hats that kind of pop outwards.
Oh yeah, that's how you know he's getting that poo.
With a large peacock feather sticking out of it. He generally wanders the streets carrying a cane or an umbrella. And sometimes Joshua would be sporting a saber at his hip.
Damn, I need to get a saber.
Yeah, right? And he would also be followed by 2 dogs, which were known in the area because San Francisco's a quirky fucking place. These 2 stray dogs, Bummer and Lazarus, would follow him around, and he would feed them pieces of his free lunches that he would get out on the streets.
I had no idea. That's the name of the dogs in the Christopher Moore books with the I had no idea how close he just ripped off this character and brought him to modern times, like 100%. Directly.
Yeah. Oh,
that's awesome. Yeah. I had no idea that Christopher Moore in those books looked into that. Like, why?
He's this guy that
why is he?
He's such an
icon still.
Yeah. He's just this fucking icon in one of the biggest cities, and I mean, when he moved there, it had just hit like the gold rush. Like,
oh, that makes sense.
Everybody's going crazy about San Francisco, and they get there, and there's this fucking guy wearing not police duds. He's wearing just this blue fucking uniform with
hell yeah
little gold tassel-y shoulders, and he's got a saber, and he's just kind of like, he was just a fucking weird ass dude, but everybody liked him.
That's awesome.
So, like I said, he's followed around by these couple of dogs, and when his uniform ended up getting dirty or worn, the city would actually buy him a replacement.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not like he's wearing like, oh, City of San Francisco fucking waste management, whatever. He's just this guy that fucking wanders the streets. He would go up to police officers and tell them where trouble might happen, where things
he's got to keep his city safe.
Yeah, where things need to be cleaned up. Where, like, if the cable cars were having any issues, if he sees that something's wrong on a building, he would go inside and tell the owner, and he would just make sure that
what a nice guy.
He would make sure that the city looked as beautiful as he wanted it. And honestly, a lot of people loved him for it. Now, when people would stop him, he was kind of known to just give lengthy speeches on, like, if you gave him the chance, he would just teach you about the intricacies of life and existence and get so philosophical with you and break everything down. And people were like, this dude's a fucking madman, but we really don't mind him. Like, he was very San Fran-esque.
Hell yeah.
Now, he starts to kind of distance himself from the legalities and policies of the United States, which, it's fair. He kind of feels like he's above all of it. He's been fucked over by the system.
He's the emperor. He doesn't have to listen to the rules.
He hasn't identified himself as the emperor yet.
My bad.
And he hand delivers a letter to the San Francisco Daily Evening Bulletin. And this is 1959.
Okay. 1859.
1859. Fuck. Sorry. And
that's why I'm here.
Yes, big time. You fact check me. So
no, I don't.
The letter says, at the peremptory request and desire of a large majority of the citizens of these United States, I, Joshua Norton, formerly of Algoa Bay, Cape of Good Hope, and now for the last 9 years and 10 months past of San Francisco, California, declare and proclaim myself Emperor of these United States, and in virtue of the authority thereby in me vested, do hereby order and direct the representatives of the different states of the Union to assemble in Music Hall of this city on the first day of February next, then and there to make such alterations in the existing laws of the Union as may ameliorate the evils under which the country is laboring, and thereby cause confidence to exist both at home and abroad in our stability and integrity.
What a man.
He breaks it down and declares himself emperor and says, fuck anybody that says otherwise. This country's broken, and I'm the man to fix it. And the newspaper, like the Daily, receives it, and they just go, what the fuck is this? And somebody says, oh my God, that's from Joshua Norton. Like, I know that dude. Put it in there. Like, put it in the paper.
Yeah.
And so
everybody knows him. This is gonna be great.
The original piece is released in the paper, and they put it out there just kind of this humorous thing. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's funny. Everybody knows Joshua Norton, but now everybody's gonna call him Emperor Norton. He sees it's released in the paper, and he goes, well, I'm officially emperor.
Yeah, that makes it real. It worked.
It's written word. So he's thrilled.
I would be.
And he continues sending letters to newspapers and different government agencies throughout his life, basically. Now, back to the army, where he was getting some of these just historical fucking outfits, whatever. He reached out to the U.S. Army, and he demanded that the general of the United States Army and all of his men destabilize and abolish U.S. Congress because of fraud and corruption in pretty much 1860, 61, whatever.
Or like right at the beginning of the Civil War.
Yeah, he basically says all of Congress needs to fuck off.
Damn, he's ahead of his time.
Yeah. And I mean, they respond, but because he was working so closely with the, I don't even know what the fuck you would call it, but just the little army station in San Francisco, they were all like, oh yeah, we know Emperor Norton, whatever. So they give him some old duds that they don't want. They give him a saber. And I mean, this is fucking it's 1860. And
people respect
people. Yeah, he's walking around town flaunting his shit. Just the most unique looking man in San Francisco.
Amazing.
And I mean, he loved the city. He was
the protector.
Place. He sent a letter demanding that if anyone utter the abominable word Frisco, which has no linguistic or other warrant, shall be deemed guilty of a high misdemeanor and shall pay to the imperial treasury as penalty the sum of $25.
He just didn't like the word Frisco?
No, he said imagine someone that fucking loves San Francisco. They've grown up there. It's their favorite place.
Is that what people would call San Francisco, is Frisco?
I've heard it before, Frisco.
Oh, I've never. I know there's Frisco, a ghost town in Utah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, I had no idea.
It's just a slang for San Francisco, and he believes you should say San Francisco. You keep this town pure of your devilish shorthand tongue.
I like it.
And I mean, none of these things are coming to fruition, but everyone's reading about him because for years his letters are being released in the newspaper. And you can walk up to him in the street in anywhere and he'll fucking talk your ear off about it.
And I'm sure he'll say, "Hey, did you?" Or I'm sure you'd approach him and be like, "Hey, don't worry, I'm not going to say that. I agree with you." I'm sure that people were playing into it and we're just humoring him because there's no harm.
He's just a fucking goofball.
There's no harm in that.
He's a goofball awesome. Sporting a fucking, like, foot-long feather out of his hat, just wandering around the streets. You're gonna stop and talk to him, and he's gonna get passionate, and it's just like, he's not hurting anybody. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So, he, while as the Emperor of the United States, he actually called for a bridge to be built between Oakland and San Francisco. And nowadays, they actually call that the Bay Bridge. It's not the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's the Bay Bridge. And this thing is huge. They renamed it back in like 2013 to like after one of the mayors or a governor or something. And a lot of people were mad, and they were like, hey, if you're going to change the name of this bridge, you need to give Emperor Norton the First credit for it.
It should be called Emperor Norton the First Bridge.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a fucking like tunnel that goes under in San Francisco that people are like, this should be called Edward Norton
Bridge
Way
or tunnel or whatever.
Yeah, and so I mean, even today there are a lot of people that really know and respect the story of Joshua Norton.
Yeah, so, it seems like he really played a big cultural role in the city.
I mean, when you think about it, you think about anybody that just truly loves a city, like how much Rudy Giuliani loves New York. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
back at it.
Like somebody that fucking loves a city, they're gonna know what's really good for that place. And I think that as crazy as this dude was, he could have gone anywhere. Like, after his little fiasco with the rice, he could have just up and fucking dipped out.
Yeah, he had enough money left over.
Gone to a different town, fucking started a new town. He had the money for it, but I honestly think he just loved San Francisco so much. Now, he actually reached out to different world leaders. He would send them letters.
Oh, hell yeah.
He sent letters to presidents of the United States.
Fuck yeah.
And proposed... He, as the Emperor of the U.S., said we need to build like a treaty between world nations, more or less create, I don't know, like a United Nations Council or something. Like he genuinely came up with the concept for the United
League of
Nations.
Nuts for the League of the League of Nations. They
the guy.
Oh, what's his name? Must have stolen that from him. I forgot the name.
Just a fucking goofball. And he reached out and was in constant contact with the king of Hawaii before the U.S. colonized it. I shouldn't say colonized it. Before the U.S. fucking took it over.
Imperialized.
That was
colonialized it.
That yeah.
There's a lot of words for it. Raped it.
Yeah. So he was in constant contact with Kamehameha V. And
that's awesome.
The king of Hawaii refused to recognize the Democratic United States government, saying that he would only work with the Emperor of the United States, Emperor Norton. Like this guy,
amazing.
He just
giving him a little bit of recognition. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say a little bit. Recognition. Yeah. That's awesome.
He attempted to woo Queen Victoria, asking her to marry him to build a bond between the U.S. and the U.K. He never heard back, but I think that her letters got lost in the mail or something. And he was considered the protector of Mexico because nobody was currently taking the title for it. And it became a legend that he was the son of Napoleon III. Now, this was going on while France was having so many problems with Mexico. They were trying to get like tribute and everything from them. And so people in San Francisco were like, "Oh, Emperor Norton, aren't you now the protector of Mexico? Because no one else will." And he said, "I claim it, but it would be impossible to protect such an unsettled nation."
Damn.
And he had his own recognized currency. It was labeled.
Wait, is it dumpster food?
Yeah, right.
Because he's just some homeless dude now?
Dude, no joke. It sounds like just a quirky fucking homeless dude. But he would have currency printed, and it would say the Imperial Government of Norton the First. and they would range from 50 cents to $10, and he would pay with it in different places, and people would take it as legal tender. They're like, yeah, whatever, like, it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
It's $7.50 Imperial Government of Norton the Firsts, and he would go, well, yes, I have that. And I mean, it, like, people fucking ate this guy up.
Oh, yeah. I would.
This
That's
currency
amazing.
sold on collector sites for over $10,000 a bill just recently.
Damn, I was just thinking I might want to find some. But
Take
I'm
a look.
Not,
You might
no,
be able
no,
to,
I'm not going to find
might,
any that's within my price range.
I mean, it would be cool to even just see somebody trying to post it. But unfortunately, as I said, all good things must come to an end. And on January 8th, 1880, Joshua Norton collapsed in the streets of San Francisco. The streets that he loved, the streets that he adored.
And protected with his saber.
And protected. And as he fell, many people noticed. It wasn't like he fell and people were walking past. As he fell to the ground, like a police officer rushed over and was beckoning to someone else to go get more or less like an ambulance carriage. People came over and were trying to like make sure he was okay. People flocked to this man in his death on the street. Unfortunately, he died before the carriage arrived. But they found him to be completely penniless. Surprise.
No.
He had like $5 or $6 in his pockets. When they went back to his workman's home, he had a collection of walking sticks and a handful of different hats. Some of them were just wildly extravagant.
Amazing.
And they also found fake letters from Alexander II of Russia congratulating him on his marriage to the Queen.
Some fanfics.
Yeah. And there was another that was from someone in France that he was like, oh, yes, our treaty. I'm glad that we've come to terms with these things. But when they were getting his body ready for burial, it was planned to just give him a simple coffin. He couldn't afford anything else.
That's not an emperor's burial.
So they planned to give him just a regular weak-ass wooden coffin. However, the local Businessmen's Association reached into their pockets and they sponsored and held a funeral for him. They got him one of the best coffins available. And at the funeral, 10,000 people attended.
Holy shit.
Now
that's an emperor.
1880, 10,000 people lined the streets of San Francisco. The line went on for 2 miles down the streets of San Francisco for the Emperor of the United States.
Damn.
He was buried in the Masonic Cemetery. And
hell yeah.
On February 4th, 2018, a large celebration was held for Joshua Norton I, Emperor of the United States, Protector of Mexico, for his 200th birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. That would never happen today.
And
businesses would never do that.
People dressed up like him. Like, they wore the blue
with the gold
uniform with the gold epaulets and the sword and
the hat with the huge feather shit in there.
And
oh my god.
People were just like, you really can't find someone that truly loved San Francisco this much.
And
especially back then.
It transcends more than that. Like, he obviously cared for the people, his subjects. Like,
and he had grand ideas.
Yeah.
He literally came up with the idea of the fucking
Nations.
Bay Bridge.
And the Bay Bridge. Oh my god. This dude was ahead of his time.
Yeah. Just a fucking... the silliest story. Like the goofiest guy that didn't hurt anybody other than himself.
Yeah, other than himself and 200,000 pounds of rice.
And it was just an amazing just a fun story. Such a fun individual. If you get the chance to read about him, there's a lot that, like, I just kind of was like, yeah, I'll keep that out, whatever.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah. So if you get the chance to read about him, definitely read about him. And like AJ said, he influences multiple characters that are, like, such widely revered characters in American literature. Like,
that's
the
crazy.
fact that Mark Twain puts him in one of the most beloved books of all time. Like,
damn,
astonishing. Yeah. Just so yeah,
it's because we're all playing real life. He was just playing a character.
Yeah. He was just having a grand old time. So you got Patreon subscribers pulled up.
I do. I got it. So patreon.com/points-o-pressure. Let me open. We sometimes put out extra episodes there.
Been bad about it lately, but we'll get to it.
I read your messages, Lindo. I hope you're feeling a lot better with your ankle. So I'm not the guest host. Abby, AJ's third nut, Lindo, NSA isn't real, D's nuts, Nordic Thunder, Toddy Waddy Poopy Snotty, Dark Runner. I had to scroll for that one. Dark Runner, Haley, and Casey McFacey. Thank you guys so much. You keep the lights on. You let us host.
That last week? Did I say you keep the lights on?
I have no idea. I didn't listen.
What the fuck?
I didn't listen. Hold on. I didn't listen to your part.
Oh, like the end?
Yeah, I listened to Bear.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Bear, thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed you.
Back.
Can't wait to have you back on again. If you guys have any ideas, know some crazy people,
yeah, hit us up.
Message us on Patreon or the social medias at Points of Pressure.
At Points of Pressure on Twitter and Instagram. As AJ said, music suggestions, TV, movies, books, anything you got. If you're having real world problems and you need somebody to chat with, by all means, reach out there.
Oh, it's spooky season. We're going to do our live show
October 31st.
So if you know anything spooky, send it to us.
And if you have any spooky stories,
send them
along, because we will happily read them and share them. I would fluff them up to make them sound absolutely bonkers.
I would love to just do a show where people send us spooky events. Like, you remember, I think it was like our first or second one. We actually had some people on Twitter.
That was about it was the sleep paralysis demons.
Yeah. So, send us some stories. I'm working. We might have a guest on for at least part of it to share some spooky stories. So if you have any, please send them. Or if you know anybody who has them, ask them about them and then send them to us without their permission.
Yeah. And if you are from somewhere other than the U.S., we will try to start a little bit earlier. We're not going to shoot for like a later one. We're going to try to do it a little bit earlier in the afternoon.
And if you miss it...
it'll be posted the next day.
I'll be posting it, yeah.
Yep.
Well, don't put that pressure on me. It'll probably be the next day.
That would be a Monday.
But...
it would be a fucking Monday.
Oh, I guess that's true. Okay, it'll be on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't have the choice, so...
But yeah.
It'll be a good one. You have no idea what I've got in store. I bought a book.
I don't have any idea what I have in store yet.
Yeah, it's a surprise for everyone.
Here we go. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next Monday.